Hey everybody. I want to go through a quick little video on how we multiply with algebraic terms. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of start relatively straightforward and build and build and build. So all I'm addressing for right now is that operation of multiply. So let's take a look at A. What A says is I have one thing times two things. And the way that I'm going to take one thing times two things is to make sure that that one thing is multiplied by every part of the other thing. We call that expanding. And so I'm going to take my 3 and multiply it by my 2x, and then I take my 3 and I multiply it by my positive 3, and there's my 9. So I just multiplied my 3 times my 2x plus 3. Okay, one little side note when I deal with that. Really, all I did is it's like I took 23 and I multiplied it by 3, and I recognize a little bit that what I'm doing is I need to multiply by all parts of the 23. The 3 times the 20 and the 3 times the 3. That's really, those blue arrows, the same as what I'm doing here. And it never gets different. Take a look at B. If I'm going to now multiply x plus 3 times x plus 4, then that would be like a 14 times a 13. And I would eventually have to take all parts of the 13 and multiply it by all parts of the 14. That's all I'm doing here. So I'm going to first start by taking my x and multiplying it to every part of the x plus 4. X times x is x squared. X times plus 4 is a 4x. But then I have to take all parts of the 3 and multiply it by all parts of the x plus 4. So there is my plus 3x and my plus 12. It's just that now when I multiply those, I happen to get a couple terms that will simplify, and there we go. Okay, the operation of multiplication doesn't change even if we start to get into two things times three things. Look at problem C. All I do is I slowly and methodically take every part of my first thing and multiply it. So there's an x times a 3x squared, an x times a 4x, and an x times a negative 5. Then I need to take all parts of my 2 and multiply it. So there's a 2 times a 3x squared, a 2 times a 4x, and a 2 times a negative 5. And then, of course, I just look to always simplify. I have a couple x squared terms, I have a couple single x terms, and my constant. Okay. You will notice that within each of those problems, what I did was I actually gave you like a 1 coefficient on everything. And so there may have been a little bit of a shortcut you may have fallen into. I don't want you to have that assumption. Take a look at D. Now I have coefficients on all of my variables. So for me to take two things and multiply it by two things, then I need to take all parts of the first, multiply it by all parts of the second. So if I was to expand that, this one's your gauge. 3a times 2a is a 6a squared. 3a times 7b is a 21ab. Negative 5b times 2a is a negative 10ab. And negative 5b times positive 7b is a negative 35b squared. Same thing, we can clean some stuff up. You notice your middle terms will collect to an 11ab. And there we go. So take a look on that screen, and probably most of your high school algebra is taken care of with that multiplication operation. So that is, anywhere where you were asked to multiply, chances are it's one of those four things. Okay, I am hoping that that gives you a little bit of reasoning to be able to go through, but gives you some examples pretty quickly on how we can do the multiplication operation algebraically. Okay? If there's any part of that that you need something more in depth, then hop on to one of my course profiles and take a look at that longer video on how to multiply binomials or how to expand and simplify. Those videos will help. Okay? Best of luck with your practice.